Hello, thanks for tuning in. My name is Zach. This channel is mostly science fiction and fantasy book reviews, but today, once a week, I do my weekly wrap-up of what I have been reading and, most importantly, watching for the past week. So this is what I am super excited to talk about because, yes, besides books, which I absolutely love, of course, I also watch a ton of movies and TV shows, and yes, this is my chance to just talk about them in general as opposed to a long, in-depth review. So today, what am I talking about? First of all, what did I read and finish this past week? It was actually 2 books. So the first one I read and finished was sort of out of left field because I didn't have it on my TBR list for very long. It is Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar. So this book, I saw a post on, yes, of course, Reddit, r fantasy, talking about how great this book was. I thought, hey, that does sound interesting. So I used the Libby feature to notify me when it becomes available. And lo and behold, yes, it already became available. So I think that does signal to the librarians at my local library that I'm interested in this book. So I guess they saw that, yes, someone is interested in Gunmetal Gods. I got a copy right away. I was the first, I guess maybe the only person in line waiting for this. And I just devoured it. I thought it was a really fun read. Well, maybe that's putting it lightly. It's not a fun read. There's definitely some traumatic events that happen in the book. It's a bit dark and grim. I saw a review afterwards that described it as grimdark, and I guess that kind of fits. It's a rather bleak story, but it's very cool. So it is very interesting. It has a lot of the elements that I like in my fantasy books. It has gods influencing the world, much like Malazan, which I'm currently reading and loving. It is Middle Eastern inspired, so it has a really different setting as opposed to our typical medieval kind of England theme that we usually see in fantasy. So this takes place in sort of this Ottoman Empire versus the Christian Crusades war in the Middle East. So there's talk of like bazaars and hookahs and shahs and janissaries. So the world is very vivid. It just feels fresh as opposed to, I guess, the normal stuff we read. Even Malazan, which I love, it is kind of, I guess, Eurocentric in its world design, at least so far, what I've read. So this is a breath of fresh air as opposed to, yes, Asian fantasy, which I love, and European fantasy. This is Middle Eastern fantasy, and just a lot of cool ideas, really great characters. It's got a 2 POV structure, so also a break from reading Malazan where you're just following the 2 POVs kind of back and forth, kind of the 2 sides of this war. Really interesting, and I highly recommend you check out. I had a great time, devoured it in a couple days, and I hope because I put a hold in on the second book that the library sees that and they order the second book soon because I will be reading that. And then after that, what I was actually planning to read was what came out came out last week, and I finished earlier today, and that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer Stone, the full cast edition, which just came out last week from Audible. So this, of course, is the classic story from J.K. Rowling, and I had never read the book, so I've been just a passive fan of Harry Potter because I've seen all the movies in the main Harry Potter franchise, the Fantastic Beasts franchise. It's a great world. It's a great story. And I never just read the audiobook. I guess because I'm an elder millennial, it came out when I was a little bit too old for it. Not that it stops me from reading it now in my 40s, but at the time when I was a young adult, it was, I guess, slightly younger grade for me at the time. So I just wrote it off, I guess. And yeah, I guess I sort of hesitate to have, not regret it, but I wish I would have read it sooner because the books are great. The movies are great, but yeah, the books are great. It was a really fun ride. And most importantly, the full cast edition was amazing. I highly, highly recommend it. It is totally worth the Audible credit. It was just very immersive. I was, doing my normal listening / walking, and I don't know even where I was. I was just so immersed in the world. It has the sound effects. It has the full cast speaking every word, background music, sound effects. I hesitate to say is if you're in like a big city, when I'm in Manhattan trying to listen and commute, it's very disorienting sometimes just to listen to a regular audiobook because you're navigating people and stoplights and traffic and just crazy. But out here in the suburbs, in my own world, on the sidewalk with very little people around. I was just lost in the world of Harry Potter, really enjoying it, just totally engrossed in the story, in the audio production. So listening to it with AirPods Pros, with the Dolby, just the sound, like the sound stage. It's, sometimes they're talking in one ear and they're talking to a character on the other ear because they're talking to each other across the room. And then in the back, it's just really good sound design. It's a great production. I'm very excited to continue reading the Harry Potter story via the Audible full cast editions. And then what I went back to reading, so after finishing Harry Potter earlier today, on my post-dinner walk just now, I was back to finally reading Memories of Ice, which is Malazan Book 3 by Steven Erikson. This book, oh my gosh, the chapter I was on, it's amazing. I'm only on chapter 5, but Anomander Rake is back. Perrin is dealing with his new role in the story. Quickman and Whiskey Jack are there. Everyone's together in the world. The new characters that have things happen to them are there. It's just very, very cool. We're getting tons of lore drops already. I am at the edge of my seat reading Memories of Ice. It is just amazing so far. It is so, so good. Malazan is so good. It has, like I was talking about, Gunmetal Gods has like gods interfering with a world in a larger war. That's like ramped up and dialed up to 11 with amazing prose, even more amazing world building in Malazan. It's just, peak fantasy for me right now. I'm really loving Malazan, and I cannot wait to get back to Book 3, Memories of Ice. That's my current read. Maybe finish this weekend. It's a long book, but might go into next week. I'm definitely going to try and read every chance I get. So that's what I finished reading and what I am currently reading. And now the fun part, what I watched. So a couple okay-ish movies. Not the one I really want to talk about that. I'll get to that later. But first we watched Last Song for You, which is a 2024 film out of Hong Kong, starring Ekin Cheng, who's, again, if you watch Hong Kong cinema, he's a old timer, was in tons of movies that got me into Hong Kong cinema. So he's back in this role that's more drama. It's a very kind of like a romance love story drama with a bit of, the description mentioned there's like a time travel element, so that the character must journey across time and continent to connect with her past lover. And it was, a little bit of a sappy story, but I love seeing Ekin Cheng in this more serious role as opposed to maybe like his previous like gangster triad roles or superhero kind of action roles. So I loved his character. I loved the story. It was cheesy, but yes, it pulled at my heart. And I really enjoyed Last Song for You. Like, not like a top all time, but it was a enjoyable watch on the weekend. Next up, out of Japan, a 2025 film, which is A Girl and Her Guard Dog. This, by the description, was, a manga adaptation, and it watched like a live action manga adaptation. I think there's also an animated anime for it, but it's a bit of a cheesy story. This one involves a girl who is a high school girl, of course, who's the daughter of a Yakuza boss. So she has a bodyguard that joins her at her first time in high school. So she's trying to live a normal high school life with her actual Yakuza bodyguard who's like in his late 20s. And yes, of course, they develop feelings for each other. And it's that, relationship of she's 16, he's like 26. But yes, they have feelings for each other, and that's okay because even though he's the Yakuza killer that kills people in the show, he has a heart of gold, of course, and he cares for our main character heroine. But anyways, that was A Girl and Her Guard Dog. Again, just mediocre adaptation. It wasn't the greatest story, but it's the kind of, what you're getting with that kind of a story about a girl who's part of the Yakuza family and having a bodyguard who's Yakuza, trying to blend in and live a normal high school experience. After that, I guess what I was looking forward to this weekend was Guillermo del Toro's 2025 film Frankenstein. So this is the new big release from Netflix this week, and it was pretty good. It was an adaptation of the classic Mary Shelley Frankenstein about the main character, yes, Victor Frankenstein, who is, everyone knows, yes, a scientist who brings a creature to life through science. And it's the trope of who's the monster? Is it the creature or is it Frankenstein? Because it's not, Frankenstein is the scientist, but he's actually the monster. Yes, everyone knows that trope by now. But yes, it's a great story. It's science fiction. I think it's like the first science fiction novel technically, but it's not, purely about the science of it. That yes, he is a doctor and a scientist experimenting on his patients to achieve this miracle of life via science. But it's more of an exploration of characters and the two storylines of the doctor's story, Victor's story, and then the creature's story and his perspective. And with Guillermo del Toro at the helm, the visuals are great. The pacing was great. It just looked like a great film. Oscar Isaac, of course, that may be another reason I really wanted to see this, because his roles, of course, he was Poe Dameron in the Star Wars films. He was Moon Knight. And yes, most importantly, he was, maybe not, can't see in here, but yes, he's in this poster. He's Duke Leto Atreides from Dune. So yeah, great actor. I loved him portraying Victor Frankenstein. It was a really good film, really good watch. It's not really spoilery, but everyone kind of maybe knows the story of Frankenstein, but it is really show that, that struggle from both sides and how they kind of reconcile at the end. So it was a good story. It was a really good watch. Great visuals. Again, not a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 movie, but a solid, like a 4.5. It was a really good film as the medium of film is. And then lastly, the kind of new film that I didn't even know about, so it wasn't advertised much, and that's 2025's Good Fortune. This film we checked out because of the strength of the cast. So maybe as you see on the poster, it stars Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari, and Seth Rogen. So three big name actors. The lesser build on the poster has Keke Palmer as the female lead, but the three male actors, it's like a I guess a twist on the Freaky Friday film where Keanu Reeves plays an angel. This is sort of spoilery, but it's in the description, the trailers. Keanu Reeves plays an angel, and he gets involved with Aziz and Seth's characters. Aziz is a gig worker working for DoorDash. Seth is a VC, just a VC bro. He plays very well. He's that bro, tech bro, VC investor figure. And yeah, Keanu Reeves interferes. They switch places. So Aziz goes from his character as, the lowest rung on society as a gig worker doing DoorDash, living in his car. Now he's living the VC tech bro life in Seth Rogen's mansion, and he's experiencing that life while Seth has to experience Aziz's life, going from the worst part of his day is doing a few Zoom meetings and having this hundreds of dollars sushi lunch, and now he's doing gig work in the car. So it's that Freaky Friday switch. It's got Keanu Reeves. It's got a couple actors that are solid actors. So with that said, yes, it was a solid film, a good watch. I enjoyed it. It was a critique on modern society for sure. By the end of it, they scream, down with AI, down with corporations. We need to pay gig workers more. And of course, this is coming from, the three actors on the cover that are combined worth millions of dollars. So is it an accurate portrayal? I think so, even though, this is Aziz Ansari directing it, but it did make you feel for the gig economy workers and just the general plight of society right now with the haves and the have-nots. So it does portray that story well, I thought, and it was a decent watch. And then lastly, what else I really want to talk about, which was the new release on Apple TV again, which is Pluribus. This is the new series from Vince Gilligan, who is the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So before these comments that, yes, I've never watched Breaking Bad. I've never watched, obviously, then Better Call Saul, but it is one of the best of course, best rated, highest rated TV series of all time. Okay, I've watched like the first 2 episodes, but we just never got pulled in. I guess we need to push through to episode 4 and 5 and just really get hooked on the story. But I have watched a little bit of Breaking Bad, but on the strength of one of the greatest shows of all time, we check this out because it's also an Apple TV host of one of my favorite shows of recent memory, which is Severance. So in that vein of like a science fiction mystery show, this is kind of filling the void of Severance until the next season of Severance comes out, because it has a sci-fi twist, not like the big corporate mystery like Severance had, but it has a science-based event that happens. Yes, you see it from the trailer that there's one female who is like an unhappy person, but the whole world somehow turns happy and they're all trying to please her, which is, you see it from the trailers. I'm trying to be a little vague because I know it just came out. It's not everyone has watched the first 2 episodes yet, but we follow our main character who, funnily enough, is a romantasy author. So it has a connection to BookTube. And yeah, I think just on that, you should watch it. But the story was great. It takes a little while to get going on episode 1 because we follow our main character, Deborah Seahorn. Right? I'm trying to look at the name. I wrote it down in my notes, but she's from Better Call Saul, which again, never watched. But the main actress, she is winding down her book tour. So about the first 30 minutes, we're just kind of learning about her character, her life, and kind of just developing her. But then kind of the event happens, things start kicking into high gear, and it gets weird. And it's her dealing with the fallout of this event, the world around her changing, how she's reacting to it. And this is just so far only the first 2 episodes, so this could go again somewhere totally different. But on the strength of the series creator coming from Breaking Bad, which had like a strong through thread, which everyone says, at least for the whole series, it ended on a good note. Not like Severance, which kind of seems to, who knows what direction they're going. I think they're kind of figuring out as they go. But so I have high hopes that this has a well thought out plot based on the director, Vince Gilligan, that we're going to get to a conclusion, that this all has a meaning. The things were shown in the first 2 episodes as we kind of build the frustration in the character that she's feeling, at least in episode 2. And yeah, we've only met a couple of the other characters, but I'm sure the others are going to start coming in soon and hopefully resolve this to a satisfying conclusion. So overall, it was a pretty engrossing watch. I am really enjoying the story. It just gives you something, not so much to debate with a big mystery like Severance, but it has a lot to think about and just to come along for the ride as our characters discover stuff. We're still a little bit in the dark as watchers of what's really going on. We have hints of what's going on, but I don't really know, like a way out of the situation at the moment. There doesn't seem to be a way to resolve it unless it's somehow through the power of love and friendship, which you kind of got a hint of in episode 2, that she's going to have to, with the power of love, like convert everyone. I don't know. This is just like a wild speculation I'm throwing out, but she's going to save everyone herself. But yeah, so don't know where this is going, but I'm excited to see. So that is Pluribus on Apple TV. And I think, that is definitely worth a watch and should check out. So I'm going to stop there because those are my books I read, the movies I read, and then the TV series we started, which is Pluribus. But do check out anything on this list. Tell me why I should definitely check out Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul if I'm liking Pluribus. And I cannot wait to get back to Malazan, so I'm going to go off and read Malazan and put my pre-order in for book 2 of the Harry Potter full cast audio editions on Audible. So thanks for watching this weekly wrap-up. Hope you're having a great week and have a great week ahead. See ya.